episode of Bloggers Corner. I'm Britt from EclecticPop.com, and welcome the host of the most, Dr. Bones. How are you doing today, Dr. Bones?
Very well, and a big happy Halloween to everyone. I hope everyone liked that intro. That was actually my voice. I always just drop down a couple levels, but I thought it sounded pretty cool and creepy.
Very creepy.
So, today, before we get into it, I do have a bunch of different music, clips from different TV shows and some movies that we're going to listen to. And if people don't know what it's from, then you're missing one of the all-time classic Halloween movies, and that, not necessarily made for Halloween, but that was from the movie Psycho, the original Psycho, not the remake. And one thing I just pointed out to Britt that I just realized yesterday when I was getting these stuff ready is that for people who are Busta Rhymes fans, that actually is a part of his song, or the opening to his song, Give Me Some More. So there's a little fun fact right there. So, Britt, let's take it away. Let's get into Flash first and Arrow second, because Arrow's been sucking. So let's start with Flash.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the good show this week.
Oh, so you didn't see Flash at all?
I did not get a chance to catch up, so I'm hoping you can fill us in.
All right, okay. Well, Flash, again, it's been doing very well, and it's been keeping very strong, which is awesome. It's nice because right now they're pretty much shoving Arrow right out of the water, or blowing them out of the water, excuse me, should be the phrase. But this one in particular, there is a new enemy, and it looks like he's going to be a recurring enemy. And this guy was put by Joe. Joe informed everybody about it. He was the son of a cop, and the cop was like a brutal guy, wasn't mean to his kids, and he was locked up. But this guy, his son, has been trying to pull out crimes and try to pull off a jewel heist. But of course, Flash was there to stop him. And what they did was, since he's all about timing, meaning he's got everything timed right down to the second. So there was when they were trying to pull the heist off, what they had was an armored car, and what they did was they took a tow truck and backed up to it because they knew they couldn't get it while it was sitting, they had to get it while it was moving because of the police response times that he had keyed in. He's like, well, I know that the police respond to this time, this spot in this amount of time, so we have this many seconds. So they tried to rob it, and of course Flash found out about it via his crew and went and stopped it. So now this guy has pretty much saw a weakness in Flash and is trying to expose it later, but we'll get to that in one moment. What happened is because the guy lost his mask, Flash was able to ID him and tell Joe who he was. So what happened is they were ready for him because they were trying to do this jewel heist, and was supposed to go on display at a museum. So the cops were informed that this guy had been around the tour twice, and kind of the douche in the crowd, like offers kid of gum, and just some pretty much basic kind of like nonsense banter. As far as I'm concerned, it didn't last too long. But pretty much the setup is when this guy was doing it, he was trying to time Flash to kind of find out seconds because he's all about the numbers. So he's like a bit of a mathematical criminal, if you want to put it that way, which was really cool. And what it came down to is there was a weapon stolen that this guy got a hold of, and it was one that Britt, I can't remember his name. Obviously, there's the main scientist, Doctor, and who's the main crew? I'm sorry, I'm just really excited, so I'm blanking the names. There's Caitlin,
the girl.
There's Caitlin, then there's the guy, and there's the doctor. What's the doctor and the guy's name?
The doctor's name, I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up on their database right now. So
okay.
We should have an answer very soon.
All right. So, what about the guy's name who's with them?
The computer guy?
The computer guy, yeah.
I don't. Mateo. I'm not. Hold on a minute.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm really excited for the show, so I'm kind of blanking on the names right now.
Oh no, that's fine. Okay. So that guy's name is Cisco.
Cisco, perfect. Thank you. Okay. We'll get
yeah.
the doctor's name in a second, but Cisco had invented this weapon, and what it did was it slowed down molecules and could freeze. So obviously the guy got a hold of it, and pretty much in the museum, this is when he had it. He was shooting certain areas of freeze to see how fast Flash was to save these people, which was smart. And he saved Joe, just barely, but saved Joe. Pretty much they collided as he got hit by this essentially it's like a freeze ray, but he did lose one cop, and this cop was kind of like unknown, so we didn't know who this guy was. But obviously, Flash was hurt by it because it's the first person he'd ever lost. So obviously a bit of a bummer there. But now they're trying to figure out how to kind of, get rid of this weapon. But we'll get to that in a second too, because everything's kind of starting to add up with. Stories are being more developed, put it that way. Now, because they're Eddie and Joe are on a stakeout, and Eddie starts talking about Iris, and he's like, goes, you know what? Have you ever gone for a beer after work? That sort of thing. He's like, no. Well, goes, that's right, because only my friends and I do. Because you're my partner. I don't want to hear about your dating life, that sort of thing. Obviously, meaning he doesn't want to hear about who his daughter's dating since it's his partner, right? Because it's a completely different thing. And what happened was Iris tells him later, because no, why can't you lighten up? And he says, I'm responsible for Eddie. And if anything happens to him, I'm going to have a hard time looking at you. Because it's your boyfriend, but he's also my partner, so you can understand that side of things. So Joe kind of learns to accept Eddie, and Eddie ends up kind of helping him out in the end. But in this whole museum thing, like Flash does get frozen, but since he kind of heals quickly, it kind of is generated fast. But still, it's still not a good thing that this guy has this weapon. And what happened is this episode, and of course, I'm surprised you didn't see it because your girl Felicity was in the whole episode.
I've been dying to see it because of that. You know, I love the show anyway, but I just couldn't find the time.
So Felicity's in this episode, pretty much the entire episode, and she comes to see Barry, and because she hears he's out of the coma. And wow, there's one scene she was dressed to the nines, and you know what? Felicity's a good-looking woman, but holy crap, did she ever look hot in this dress? So she, she's a great character, but it was funny because they're so similar. Their characters are so similar. You know, they're kind of smart nerds. Well, smart nerds. I know it's kind of contradictory of itself, but you know, kind of the brainy, good-looking nerds, right? So they get each other's jokes.
Right.
And Iris kind of sees that, and he goes, "You know what? You should come me sooner to help you out with this girl." And he's like, well, we're just friends. And she goes, well, no woman will travel like hundreds of miles to train just to say hi, you know? So what they did is before the last encounter, which was at the museum, one of the last encounters, is it's Eddie and Iris and Barry and Felicity. And it's almost like a quiz thing. So you got a tablet in front of you and you answer the questions, and you know, if you can win a grand prize. And their team name was E equals I think it was MC Hammer, and of course something that Barry gets had to explain to Iris, and then of course Felicity comes in and goes, "Oh, E MC Hammer, I get it," you know. So perfect match, right? And but when she comes in, this is when she's dressed like they gave her like a killer dress, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a little overdressed," and they're like, "Oh no, don't worry about it." I mean, they're kind of. I guess it's like they kind of just semi-casual sort of thing. But obviously only Felicity knows that he's a Flash. He was able to tell her. And the cool thing is he does show her at one point. And it's funny because he's trying to show off, right? So they're at their doctor's place. So the doctor's name is?
Harrison.
Thank you. Also, Dr. Harrison. So they're at the place and they're pretty much show where he does his training. And no, he's on the treadmill and just seeing how fast he can run. And then he goes, "Hey, look how fast I can run backwards." Of course, he slips off the treadmill and flies into the wall, right? So, yeah, exactly. He's like, "Oh, I'm okay." So he shows her obviously outside as well. So what he does is Felicity and Barry are together, and there's a building across the street, and he says, "See that building?" She's like, "Yes." So he says, "Keep an eye on that building." So he runs across and comes back. He's gone just for seconds, right? And he goes, "Here's a picture took of you." So you took a picture of me, and then she zooms in, and sure enough, there's a picture of her. That's how quick he was.
Nice.
So it was really cool, and that's what the new criminal is using against him. I'm sorry, I'm blanking his name too, but he looks like he's gonna be a recurring character. So the final scene, when Barry's going after this guy, this is after the museum. Felicity kind of pep talks the crew, and she's saying, because they disappointed him because when Barry found out about this weapon, he's like, "Well, how could you do this? I thought we were friends." And they had no explanation. Then Felicity says, "Well, after he's gone, he says, well, you know what? They're part of your crew and blah blah. I know I've done this with Arrow and that sort of thing. So you gotta." And of course, what happens? They all come together to go after him. So Caitlin and Cisco show up Because what happens is he catches this guy in a train, and what he does is he freezes the train so his train splits apart. So he's got to save all these people, and he does. So what happens is they go after him, and Cisco is like he's got this huge weapon, and so Felicity and Caitlin are holding it, and he goes, "This is twice as not the exact words, but twice as badass as the one you have." So I put him down. And he's like, "You'd never kill someone in life because you're shaking." He goes, "Oh shoot, no, don't make me use it," and blah blah blah. And so finally, the guy puts it down. He goes, "No, he goes, you win this time." And I can't remember what Cisco said. He goes, "Well, no, I'll be back to get you more." He's like, "Don't," or he says, give me the diamond." He's like, "Don't push your luck." And so the guy kind of struts away, and that's the end of that. And then Barry obviously is very thankful that he knows that he's got a team now. The crew, they are his friends. They will look after him. And he says, the best line Cisco says, he goes, "This isn't something you invented. This is the vacuum cleaner from the from the center, just with a lot of LED lights on it."
Ah.
So it was smart, right? And after that, they kind of realized, no, we're all friends, and we're going to protect each other and make this thing work. And
very cool.
There's actually another weapon that is it's a heat weapon, so it's kind of like almost like a flamethrower. That Dr. Harrison doesn't know about, because Dr. Harrison found out about the ice ray, and he was very upset and pretty much said that goes, "Promise me," goes, "you will never make one of those again. Like how dare you," sort of thing. Now we're trying to protect Barry, not pretty much not help him along to die. So
right.
Pretty much making Cisco feel like a tiny little ant sort of thing. And even though we're not quite sure what Dr. Harrison's up to, he had a point, so kind of I guess good on him for kind of giving Cisco that little lecture. So, but the thing is, before they wrapped it up, you're gonna like this part of it. Felicity goes home because she's got to go back to see what's happening, and she's on the train. Of course, guess who shows up on the train because he speeds up to it and sits down with her? Barry. So they're talking, and then finally, the moment everybody was waiting for, they share a kiss. Yay!
No, they did?
They did.
Woo-woo.
So that's why I was surprised I can't see this one. So there's something to look forward to. And they pretty much wrapped it up, but Dr. Harrison, like I said, doesn't know about the heat weapon yet. So that's pretty much where they left off, but where they left off is this guy is going to be a recurring villain.
Okay, and is this the villain that's played by Wentworth Miller?
That's exactly it. That's him.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember his name, but I did remember hearing that.
Yeah, Wentworth Miller has been in a lot of stuff. I mean, he's got one of those recognizable faces. Even if you can't remember what he's been in, you've seen him before in other stuff.